Hi, I'm Sebastian from Profil Prague, and I'm glad to welcome you, Mathieu Meessen and
Yes,
Ingo
correct.
Dassen from the Dutch band LESOIR.
Hello.
LESOIR, the evening in
Yeah,
French.
Yeah,
First of all, how are you doing?
yeah,
good. Bit
great.
busy.
A bit.
Yeah, busy, even more.
First
Yeah.
Yeah.
of first of all, congratulations for Mosaic. I do consider this is for sure. I'm not the only one to think so. This is top-notch work.
Thank
Would
you.
it be your best rendition so far, and why?
Y- well, it's difficult to say that from something you made yourself, but I think we agree. Well, maybe the last work you make is always as an artist, you always think that's might be the best, because that's the vibe you are in at the moment, and it's a progression from everything that happened and that you made in the past. So I think it's logical for artists to say that their last work is always the best. But I mean, for us, we feel it that way. Yes.
Yeah.
And why?
Well, I think each album you want to improve yourself. And I think the previous album was also that was actually I think our first album that we decided to focus a bit more on the art rock and progressive side of music. Not that we intentionally write songs to fit to this genre, but over
No.
the years, people told us that we have a lot of influences similar to this genre, and I think from Latitude on, we were we were personally more listening to this genre, and we got more confident with maybe our potential within this market. So and that was our first try, and I think we learned a lot from that album. We learned that we are maybe not that progressive and heavy as we thought. So we went back to writing more melodic songs with a lot of emotion, and it felt really good. I think recording this album, when we were in the studio, we already had the feeling, okay, this is going to be different. This is far more how we are than the previous albums,
Yeah.
and but still, when you release this album, you're always a bit anxious because you don't know how the people will respond to it, and we are very fortunate that a lot of reviews and people really respect, very positive,
Mhm.
including you. So yeah. You write and you create for yourself, and you always hope that the people around you enjoy it as much as you do. And yeah, it looks like Mosaic does this with a lot of people, and yeah, that feels really good. Yeah, it gives a lot of positive energy.
Is it really different from your previous album?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we approached the songs a bit more different. Well, the basic is always the same. We start instrumental and then we add vocals. But I think in the past we did like very many multi-layered instrumentals, and then we put multi-layer vocals on it. So we ask a lot from our listeners when they listen to our songs. And I think different with this album is that we made the instrumentals. It was
Mm.
multi-layered. We added vocals. Then we looked, maybe it's better to leave some instrumental layers out,
Yeah.
and maybe it was better to get a really strong lead vocal and a really strong melody line, and maybe color it, make your own mosaic, but not like keep everything in all the time, because maybe sometimes too much is too much. And I
Yes, we were definitely looking more and spent more time on finding the balance within the instruments together with the vocals. Make it not too much, not too heavy. The subjects are also not that heavy. We try to find subjects for the songs closer to ourselves and closer to home. Yeah, and therefore the new songs feel very natural, like they belong to us.
And for us, they feel very warm. You know, it gives us a warm feeling. It has a bit more positive vibe and emotions what the songs have. So that's really different, I think, compared to the other albums, the previous ones.
Yeah, but I think you can still hear that it's LESOIR. I think it's still. We did not throw away everything that we did in the past.
We added a bit more light. I think the previous one were a bit more dark.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah.
And I also
but
think
life was more dark.
Life was more dark.
3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, now with Corona, it's again dark.
Yeah, it's again dark. But no, it's not.
One more question. Can you explain the title Mosaic? And did you make the artwork by yourself?
Well, to start with your second question, no, we did not make the artwork ourselves. We used to do that. Yeah. I wish I made it, or we would have created it. No, we met someone who does also the artwork for the venue Vera in Groningen.
It's a very famous venue in the Netherlands.
And she makes great artwork, and she did this for the band The Gathering.
Yes, of course.
For the 25 years celebration jubileum, and we did the support. We have the one, I don't know if you can see it.
I don't know if you see it.
It's at the back of my paper.
Yeah.
Very nice, thank you.
Yeah. Well, and we love that so much that we asked her to do the artwork for
us. We really liked her style, and we thought it fitted to the
mosaic concept. What she does is she makes with what I think it's a computer animation, but it looks like zeefdruk. Oh, how do you say that in English? Zeefdruk, press. I don't know the word. This technique with.
It's like an analog technique where you back in the days they made newspapers also that way.
Yes, of course.
You make like some
layer over layer over layer.
Not using a computer, so that's what she does. She works with well, she does it with the computer, but she works with the idea of like using full colors and putting stuff on each other, scan it in, and make different kind of creations with us. And I think that's the idea behind Mosaic. So you make one bigger picture, but if you really look really carefully to it and you zoom in, you see a lot of different pieces. And I think you see that also in our artwork. You know, the total is a really nice image, but it consists of a lot of elements that refer to us, how we feel, what we do, what we did, what we feel when we hear our music, and what we like people to experience too. So.
Different layers of musical colors.
Yeah. And make one big picture of it as an album.
Yeah, like as we did with Mosaic. We try to approach life as if it were a mosaic. Like the pieces you have in your life, you make them yourself, and you decide for your own the colors and the shape and how big they are, and you start to combine these and try to create your own artwork. actually what we try to say with Mosaic.
Okay, okay. Musically speaking, it sounds like a perfect mix between energy, music, emotion. What do you think about that?
What was the first word you meant?
A perfect mix between energy,
Oh, energy.
energy, music, emotion.
Yeah.
Difficult question.
Yeah.
I confess.
If you,
But it's my feeling.
yeah, well, if that's your, then that's really, I think,
We tried to do that.
yeah, we worked a lot with
Yeah.
emotion, melodies, and maybe the energy you feel is what we maybe sometimes call the groove. We really
Yes.
work on groove, on heartbeats and stuff, and trying to keep the song groovy, so you know you feel it more, not listening but also feeling it. So
Yeah.
and so I do understand why you say energy. Yeah.
Yeah, we put a lot of effort in that, and well, it's nice to say that to see and to hear that the people actually can hear what you tried to do.
Yeah.
So that's that's a
Absolutely.
compliment. Yeah.
Yeah.
One question for you, Marjo. The way you sing appears to me very full of sincerity, truth, without any filters. What do you think? Do you agree? It's a compliment.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, it's very. Well, I like the a dry sound, dry vocal sound. Not everyone agrees with me on this, but I think when it regarding the vocal sound. I tried to create this sound with John, with our producer, and he really understands my voice and how to put this in the mix. And I like dry, the 90s sound. That I really like that. But sometimes I give him the room to experiment with it as well. For instance, on This Is It, we used some distortion in the choruses, and also in the bridge there is some spacey thing going on, and we tried things with the vocal producer who was there with us, Paul Reeve. And I had to in the beginning I was not really sure if that was going to work. It was a bit out of my box thinking, but I think it turned out really well, everything that was been done. And what I think personally is very important is that the music is very emotional. The lyrics are very emotional, so I cannot do it different than this way, I think. I'm not the kind of vocalist that really thinks about techniques or how to be the best singer in the world. I think I like to approach a vocal as an instrument and put everything that I feel in it. And sometimes it might turn out not to be my best vocals, but definitely with most emotion.
That's
So
perfect.
we prefer to do that, but also with the instruments, we prefer to use the takes, the recordings that have the most feeling, and not play it perfectly.
We always choose emotion above how perfectly the take was. So you also hear it on the record. You hear people in the room playing and recording together. We all our albums we record live together in one room. So we don't do drums edited perfectly so everything sounds spot on and then add bass to it. No, we try to capture the momentum of us playing in the room, because I mean that's what you also get when you see us on stage. So we want to be very truthful to who we are as persons and how we are on stage. And I think this record we also did it with the vocals, focusing on what has the best emotion, what has the best momentum, and not is it always pitched perfectly and and in the groove. I think
no, it's not everywhere. It's not perfect.
No, it's human. It's human, and that's what we tried with this record.
Yes, I understand what you mean, but for example, the guitar parts appear to me quite complex.
That's true.
And did it take long to compose, and how do you find your inspiration as a guitar player?
Well, the first song was written in 2017, so the first little ID, but the songs eventually were written and finalized in a very short period. I think spring 2019 I started to finalize stuff, but I'm always recording and I have little snippets and stuff, and I always let Maatje listen to it, and if we think something is really good, it gets a special place somewhere so we don't forget it, and we work it out later. But is it difficult? I can't read music, so everything I do is with my ears. With my ears, and I just start and I write, and then I keep on trying, and most of the things I write on guitar, and then at one point sometimes I think, okay, this part should be piano, and I try to do the piano, and sometimes I ask Maatje, because she's a better piano player, much better, so can you make it more, this is the idea, what can you make of it? And that's how we work, and sometimes it goes really quick and sometimes it takes very long, but it's never, it's never difficult, I think, for us to write a song. It comes naturally, and that's
as a pleasure.
Yeah. Ingo is the composer, and he of the instrumental parts, and he doesn't think when he writes. He just feels.
It comes naturally.
Yeah. He doesn't think about beats and bars and irregular measurements and stuff like that. He makes something, and then we have to. Sometimes we rehearsal it in the rehearsal room with the other guys, and then we have to really think, what did you do here? How should we count? And then he doesn't know. He finishes a song and he doesn't know how to count himself. He just makes something, and so he does not think.
So sometimes it's to rehearse a song. Sometimes it's difficult because I if you listen to the song "Measure of Things," it's I played 5. I didn't know that, but now I know. But I played 5, and the rest plays 6.
Yeah.
And it's when you listen to it with the vocals on it, it feels really naturally.
Feels 4. It feels like a normal 4/4 beat.
But maybe, if you really go into theory, I'm playing 5/6. Then so it's 5/6. Then I play 6/6, 5/6, and then is the heavy part coming. Then we do 9/4, 7/4, 4/4, or something like that. and ending 6 again. So and I that happened, and it's really afterwards you're really proud. You're like, wow, I did the ultimate prog thing. I went with different time signatures, but when I wrote it,
you didn't know.
Didn't know, and
Yeah, but for us, everyone to play together before we go into the studio, we have to know what we do, of course.
Of course.
Well, not always. Not always. We try to figure out Ingo and just not count. Just try to feel. But sometimes it's hard.
Yeah, with a lot of discussion. Discussions that sometimes, then we know it's 4/4, but because we've been playing all these strange time signatures, no one is sure anymore that it's 4/4.
It doesn't matter.
No,
Oh, it doesn't matter.
then the easy song, everyone goes like, "Oh, we can't count this," and and in the end, it's like, "Oh, it's just 4/4. It's standard stuff, you know." It's really funny, really funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so and my the other question, my influences is I I think I have a lot, but I'm more from David Gilmour, Jeff Beck.
Of course, I can hear that.
The Edge from U2. I think it's an underrated guitarist. I like these three because it's always about emotion and melody, and not about like see how fast I can play. And and the Edge really uses his guitar as like an instrument to compose and make layers that sometimes don't even sound as a guitar anymore, and I find that really inspiring. I don't like U2, it's not for me, but the Edge as guitar player is really I really like that very much. Yeah, so that's my three, but it's not that I completely analyze their playing or something. It's just if I have to choose from guitar players, I really like to identify myself with. I think these three are the ones. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And to be honest, what impressed me first is the sound quality of Mosaic. The sound quality is impressive and close to perfection. What can you tell us about the recording process and the fantastic job done by the production team? The sound is close to perfection for me.
Well, I think it's
Really.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's based on a couple of things. It's of course John Cornfield is like he's a genius. He just knows how
I can hear that too.
to work with sound, and Paul Reeve, you know, he has a lot of experience with vocal productions. He worked with Muse, and I mean Muse made really outstanding records. They always, you know, they always sound perfectly. So we had the dream team, but also the studio we recorded in. It's a really it's not new. It's an old studio. It's a studio from the guitar player from War of the World, and you know he was back in the days a famous session player in London. Played in all the big studios, and he went back to his home place in Cornwall, and he thought, I'm gonna build the most perfect studio for me.
Yeah.
His vision of the perfect studio, and I think for us it is the perfect studio. It has it has a warmth. It always sounds good. It's in a place where no one disturbs you. So I think that works too, because everyone was really relaxed.
Relaxed and focused.
And I think the third thing is what I already told before, is that we play live together, and I think that is a human factor that gives a feeling, but it also limited John in how he has to mix, because you know you hear some guitar on the drums and stuff. So I think
it's a live album.
What people now experience as like a perfect mix, it's because we did a lot live, and we didn't edit and completely repaired everything. And I think that's the thing that people now, because what you hear is what you will get live, and maybe that's the.
And it's already the fourth album we make with John.
He knows us,
and I think we really, in the last 8 years or so, we really got to know each other. He got to know us, and we got to know him, and he knows what we like,
how we like to sound, what we don't like.
Yeah, and his ideas about how sound should be. is exactly the way how we feel it. But also I think during the years we've learned a lot from him about sound and what to do and what not to do, and
In the studio.
in the studio. But you prepare yourself for this, before you go into the studio and record an album with John. When you do this for the fourth time, then well, John, about this song, John is going to say this and that, and he wants us to do this and that. And then we knew that sometimes that before you record with him, so you get better as a team, I think. And that's finding the balance on this album between him making the sound and the instrumentals, most of it played together with Bob and Ingo. They played together as a three-piece, everything together, and then me like trying to not go over the top with the vocals and blend in as an instrument this time, together with Paul Reeve, who really tried to get me out of my comfort zone sometimes. This balance between all those components made the album, I think.
Yeah, and also how it sounds, because I think what you hear is not like John just made us sound like how we are live.
Yeah.
When we are on stage, and I think that's what people really like, and he did it really. This is also the first album that normally he starts mixing in his studio without us, and then I get the first results, and most of the times I'm weeks with him corresponding. I want this different, and this album was done super quickly. I
10
had
days.
He understood what we did with this album, and when the first mixes came back, there were little details, but the general was always already spot on. We had like, okay, yeah, this is perfect. Maybe have this little part a bit, this second voice in that line, maybe we should put it a little bit higher, and that was it.
Yeah, but no dramatic changes after John did his magic.
With previous albums, sometimes we got a mix, and I was like, you didn't understand what I was meaning. This is not how I want to sound. This is we have to do this all over, and that happened a lot. But with this album, never. It was spot on. We I think studio producing us, how we feel, how we prepared. It something happened, and I think that's what you hear now. Yeah, the momentum.
LESOIR looks like a family. What can you tell us about your fellow companions? For example, Hélène Bartholomeus. A few words about her.
Yeah, Eliane, she is. We know Eliane for a very long time. She has not always been in our band, but she was also one time.
That's before.
No, that's before. No, she was not always in our band, but we did play with her in other bands. Ingo knows her from secondary school. So from when he was a teenager, they were in the same school, and they made music together, and Ingo was in a band, and I joined him later in that band, and Eliane was in a different band, and that was a kind of rival band for us. And well, we were friends, and but our high school friends, they always had a fight on who is better, what band is better, our band or the band from Eliane.
Like the Beatles versus Rolling Stones, but yes. Our local
when you are 16.
And a few words about Ingo Jetten, the bass player.
About Ingo Jetten, and with Eliane, I was also in conservatory, so we know Eliane for a long time. And Ingo Jetten, we know Ingo is a bit younger. We know him from a project we did together.
Bob too.
And Bob too, yes. They were Bob and Jette, and Ingo, Bob and the other Ingo Jette.
They know each other since they were babies.
Yeah,
they are best friends.
They were best friends.
And we with this project, we became friends too, and but we were already playing with LESOIR with a different drum and bass, and they had their own band. And at one point, we the drummer before Bob got to ask to play in the band Delane. I don't know if you know the band Delane. It's like
I heard of it, but I don't know so much.
Rhythm Temptation, big name, international. So yeah, he got like the opportunity of his life to go on tour whole year. So he had to quit with our band, and then Bob auditioned, and it was cool. But and then there was a click, and we fitted, and we felt the same music, and we were already friends. So that for us, friendship and is equally important than how you play. So I think when you are a band, you are a gang. You know, you're not just friends. We live for 5 weeks together. You get to know each other in a van. You smell each other. I mean,
you have to have fun together as well, because being in a band and being
you have discussions together. You have sometimes, everyone has a bad day, and you have to cope with that. So for us, it's really important that our band members are friends. And that the relationship we have with each other is friendship, and the friendship is the connection is the music we make together. But they are friends. We drink beer together, and we're not working as a band, but just as friends. And that's and I mean, everyone who ever played with us or in our band are still our friends. It's not that quit
Good
the band.
thing.
It's not that they quit the band because we had problems. Most of the time it was like a drummer who got offered to play in a world famous band, bass player who moves to Los Angeles. I mean, sometimes this happens. Sometimes things in life happen, and then you have to rearrange your work of art. So it's part of the mosaic.
We all expect to see you on stage. What are the plans for the future?
Well, the plans for the future are that we will play. We start to play in November again. A few. Well, the shows we had scheduled as an album release were cancelled in May and June. And we had, I think, 17 shows, and most of them are rescheduled in November and later.
In January and February.
As well.
But no France. Still no France.
No.
Belgium maybe.
We would love to play in France. We have really good memories of France. So we toured with the Gathering in France. We played in Lille.
Lyon et
Le Splendid.
2007.
7?
No,
not 7.
That's not possible.
11. I think 11.
Possible. That's possible.
11 or 12. I don't know.
With the Gathering, that was.
Yeah, we played.
Oh, that was lovely. That was so great with the Gathering.
And Lyon.
Sorry, I made a mistake with the date. Sorry.
So and we played a couple of times with the Pineapple Thief in France and Evergrey. Oh no, Evergrey we didn't do France.
Anyway, with the Gathering. Yes.
Yeah, and we played with Riverside. In Toulouse and Cognac. That was great too. Yeah. So,
we drank cognac. Yeah. The real
cognac.
The real deal.
We love France. I think the hospitality is always really good,
amazing.
And the people are super
nice.
They
They can be so intense. The people in France, they are engaged, and they really listen to you. They're quiet audience. I love that. If you come to the Netherlands, they are talking. But France is I would love to play in France.
Thank you. One last question and personal one, like a little game. If there was one artist, dead or alive, who you would love to play with, who would that be? You start, Marge.
Ooh, who would that be? Well, my all-time favorite, ultimate idol
To play with.
to play with. I was and am still a big fan of Alanis Morissette. It's a bit weird, maybe,
No.
but no, she's my teenage idol, and I listened very careful to her. I don't want to be her. I don't want to sing like her or write the songs or the lyrics that she does. But her confidence and the topics she writes about and the things she made, she did a lot of stuff. So she really invented herself a few times over and over again. She's also a bit geitenwolle sokken. Is that maybe? But
Weird.
weird, maybe. Well, she into stuff that I'm not into, like psycho things. Well, but that was later on. No, I think yeah.
She just inspires you.
Yeah. I would like to play with her. Yeah, still want to do that.
And
Yes.
you, Ingo? David Gilmour?
Yeah.
I can choose everything.
Yes, of course, you're free.
Well, okay, yeah, Pink Floyd.
With the whole band.
I would play with Pink Floyd. the original, well, not the Syd Barrett, but the David Gilmour era with Roger Waters. Yeah, I think that would be supporting. That would be perfect. Yeah.
And the song you wish you had written? You start, Ingo. The song.
'Cause We Ended as Lovers from Jeff Beck.
Good choice. And finally, Marge.
Oh, I would have song. Wow, the song I really like.
Nummer van de Frames.
Hand Cannot Erase from Steven Wilson. The song, not the album. Yeah, the album as well, but that song, Hand Cannot Erase. I don't know what it is, but that song, when I hear it, I go, I don't know. That does something to me. Makes my heart go
Very
fast.
emotional to you.
Yes, yeah. I like the beat of that and the drive and yeah. I do. I love that song.
And now that's all, folks. So thank you very much for this interview. You're welcome in France. I wish you all the best. Take care and see you soon. And see you soon on Profil Prog. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.